Well, another night was passing. I was sleeping. I'm a little upset about sending that last person on their way. Upset about sleeping in the cold. But the heater should fire up before too long here. My hauling robot was doing its job, bringing rock chunks over so I could turn them into blocks. And when I woke up, the pemmican was in order. Someone called, saying they were being chased, wanting some help. I was in no place to help right now. Whole place needed to be built yet. Zero security on hand. So I started focusing on breaking rock chunks down into blocks. That was going to be my main focus here. See if I could get enough material and build this bunker properly. So that's what I focused on. And I worked on it for quite a while. Just breaking them down. There were a whole lot of walls that needed building yet. I wasn't super excited about that prospect. But I made blocks all day until I got sick of that. Decided to get to the business of actually building some walls. See if I could get my hauling robot to set up some supplies for me. That'd speed things up dramatically. For the minute, it had its hands full, so I had to carry on myself. And it didn't take long before I was tired enough to have to hit the hay once again. And when I woke up, I built a wall section. Decided some pemmican was in order after that. There were still some rock blocks sitting around that robot was working on gathering up for me. So I wasn't going to crack the whip too hard on him. I was going to crack it on myself though. I built some walls out front where the traps are going to go. And started on the main section surrounding the ship. Take a break once in a while. It's nice to play some chess. Wish I could train these dogs to play with me or something. Been working on these strategies so long, ain't had a single person to try it against. So the blocks are almost fully brought in. And eventually, that hauling robot got it done. Still debating on putting these dogs in these crypto sleep caskets, but for the minute, I was gonna sit on them, let them hang out. Didn't seem too likely I was gonna be able to sell them dogs. Not sure if I want to bring them with or what, but in the meantime, there's walls to build, so I just stayed focused on that. It's gonna take forever, no doubt. But before I can fire up this ship, I need to be safe and sound. So I worked on building walls as long as I could bear it. Then I went off to bed about 9 o'clock. Dogs came in, the robot was charging. When I woke up, about 4 a.m., had myself some pemmican. It was time to break more rock chunks down into blocks. So I worked on that for a bit. Pretty much most of the day, in fact. Noon rolled around. It was time to take a break. Fart around with my chess table a little more. Just moving pieces around, seeing what seemed like it would work. After that I had some pemmican, and I was back to breaking down rock chunks. I was trying to get that hauling robot to put things in the proper spot, and it picked up pretty quick on it. After making blocks for a while, it was time to get back to building the wall. I worked on that for a little bit before I was off to bed once again. I was having a decent night's sleep for once. I caught that hauling robot chopping down a tree. Sneaky little thing, I didn't even know he had it in him, but he did. He thought I was asleep. I was over there building walls. Crazy little bugger. He's got more skills than he lets on, I'll tell you that. So I finished the main wall surrounding the ship before too long. That just left a little section surrounding where I was going to build my power. Geothermal is going to be necessary if I was going to be firing up all these guns I had planned. I worked on that for a bit. Had a little bit of pemmican, followed by some garden tea. I was going to work on a bedroom as well. Seemed like the main wall on the outside was higher priority though, so I stayed focused on that. Afterwards though, bedroom and a little storage room would be pretty high priority. I worked for a while, then I decided to sit and watch the sunset. Just laying in the dirt with the trees swaying. Having an alright day all in all. There's only a few sections left to build on that wall, so I got those taken care of. Thought about building the roof over there. Seemed like that'd be a bad idea with the geothermal though, so I canceled that idea. Took down what I'd already started building. And it was time to work on my little bedroom a bit before I hit the hay. I was feeling pretty good, although the place was kind of a mess. Didn't look too pretty. I'd have to work on that as well at some point. When I woke up, it's about 3 a.m. There were plenty of walls to build. I finished up the bedroom. Planned on moving my bed on in there. But for the minute, I'd prefer to finish up some walls, which didn't take too long. My little storage room was done before noon even. After that, decided I was going to get to work on some traps. Be nice to have some kind of security around here. After debating it for quite a while, I decided I was going to put in some doors. I don't want to be stepping on traps, and one surefire way to avoid it is to have access to where I needed to build them. So I planned on that. I caught that robot disassembling a wall. Man, I tell you, pretty versatile. He's labeled as a hauling robot, but you get more work than that out of him. Cargo pods came down about that time with some fruit drinks. That was pretty welcome. I could use a nice little treat once in a while. My garden tea, garden coffee's pretty good, but some fruit drink would be fantastic. I gotta get all my stuff put into my new little storage room. Decided I was gonna keep some medicine close to where I was sleeping, lest I get myself injured. So I planned on that. And I stayed focused, building doors, building traps. Once I had some bit of security going, I feel a lot more confident in my ability to survive here. And my days are drawing short. I was feeling pretty excited about it all in all. Only a handful more traps and a couple doors. Fortunately, my steel supply is holding pretty steady. There's still a couple crypto sleep caskets I could disassemble if I chose to. I was contemplating that while tossing some horseshoes, blowing off a little steam. Been working like a dog lately. So it's nice to take a little break. And after that, I was off to bed. That robot busted his butt cleaning up the room, so that was nice. Saved me the trouble of dealing with that as well. He disassembled another wall for me. Surprises me every day. I swear he didn't used to do that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to complain. So I got the last of the traps built. Started working on the last couple doors. There was a bunch of rock chunks still need to be broken down if I was going to get all the rest of these walls built for this bunker. So that was going to need to be another priority. I was going to need some more steel at some point, but for the minute, I decided to build that geothermal power plant. Get prepped up with these guns now that I could secure it behind a wall. Power was through the roof, which was fantastic. So I got back to breaking down stone chunks into blocks. And there was no end to that kind of work around here, so I just stayed focused on it until it was time for bed, about 9 o'clock once again. I was running a little bit short on food. I wasn't terribly concerned with it yet. Something was going to have to give. So I planned on doing some cooking. There'd be a lot of meals. I had plenty of animals, way more than I was probably going to need. That was a good feeling as I was sitting down chilling out. Dogs running around. Hadn't really spent any time working with them, but I'd had my fill of working with dogs and other animals. So if they go wild, well, I guess they go wild on me. Better to have them wander off and stay here and get killed with me. I butchered up a muffalo. Thought about where the best place to put the meat was. Turns out I wasn't yet allowing it in my main freezer, so I had to correct that issue. And it was time to make some meals. Figured I could speed that job up, just setting a bunch of meat next to me. I don't like my meat sitting in the dirt, but it was what it was. If I could get that robot to set some meat up, I'd be in business. I made a bunch of meals. I got back to the business of making walls. I had a decent amount of blocks, so I should be able to make some pretty good progress here. Once again, about 9 o'clock, I was off to bed. Don't want to push too hard here. Summer began that night as I was sleeping. Wasn't terribly warm for summer, that's alright. I went and put on a nice helmet, since I didn't need that winter cap anymore, before having a meal and getting back to making walls. Still gonna need a ton of block, but there were enough rock chunks around to make it happen, so I carried block, got it set up where I was gonna need it, started making good progress. After a while, I took a break, play a little more chess. Decided I was gonna let the dogs run free. They've been cooped up for a long time. Hope they don't get in any trouble, step on any traps. Seems like it's probably bound to happen, but I got plenty of work to do. Can't be worrying about whether these dumb dogs are gonna hurt themselves or not. So I built walls. That was my main focus here. Once in a while, take a little break, eat one of the meals I'd made. The robot was doing a decent job getting my supplies set up for me, speeding things up dramatically, and that was much appreciated. If only I could teach it to build walls as well. Be sitting pretty around here. This would all be done. I'd be off this rock. If only. I worked on walls for a while more, and I was off to bed. I woke up about 5 a.m. to have myself another meal. Right back to the business of making walls. After that, I was short on blocks once again, so it was going to be another day breaking stone chunk down into rocks. I'll take a break for a nice fruit drink once in a while, or just to take a walk, wander around, check out my kill box. It was quite the mess after that ship had crashed down in there, but oh well. I didn't have it in me to clean, though I contemplated it while eating a meal before getting back to doing some rock chunks. I had to move my rock cutting table so I could put a wall behind where it was. Try and make this place as secure as possible. I was off to bed again, 9 p.m. Haven't done nothing but make rock chunks most of the day, and when I woke up, I had a meal. Got right back to that business. I stayed focused on it for quite a while, until I had a real pile of blocks built up. I decided to get back to actually building the walls. I was going to make these bad boys 3 thick on the outside, 2 thick elsewhere. Occasionally I'd have to stop for a meal, as you would. The bedroom was finally done. Built the last wall in there. I was burning through marble block just because I had it, spots that were less likely to get blown up. For the outside, I was going to want a couple layers of granite at least. That's what I did. In between occasionally having a break, a little fruit drink. I don't know where they got this stuff, but it's delicious. 9 o'clock, once again I hit the hay. And the hauling robot, doing its job, bringing more rock chunks down for me. bunch of caribou went mad that night. Fortunately, I had my traps up, so there wasn't much they're going to be able to do. It was 3 of them total. I was a little miffed by the fact they were destroying my traps, but oh well. I blew that steam off by tossing some horseshoes. Always a pleasant experience for me. The hauling robot carried them dead caribou in. All these walls I was building was making my freezer smaller and smaller, but oh well. Some cargo pods fell, some hyperweave. Didn't really need it, so I was just gonna leave it. No sense having more wealth around here than I already have. I was building the wall, a couple real angry grizzly bears showed up, hell bent on my destruction, and my traps were pretty well worn out, it turns out, thanks to them caribou. So I ran on out with the gun, see if I could give them the business. I ended up getting a little bit overzealous, standing there a bit too long, trying to shoot them up, thinking they might go down. Turns out though, the bear are tough. Both of them came up and got a hold of me. Fortunately, they were well wounded, couldn't really do any damage at the time. I boogied on out, see if I could run inside. Stopped to shoot, which was a mistake, because then they got right on top of me again. They ended up making it through all the doors despite their wounds. They were taking swipes at me, but not having any luck at actually hitting me, which is fortuitous. I got them into the area where a spaceship was, started running around, playing cat and mouse with them. They were both well wounded, so they weren't very fast at this point. But they were still mad as all get out. I kept running, shooting, running, shooting. I was getting a little worried I was going to run out of spots. Accidentally shot up my ship a bit, which is unfortunate. Eventually though, I managed to give them bears the business. There were some tough cookies, man, tell you what. They both went down. Decided I'd finish them off so I didn't have to listen to them suffering for too long. Always a horror show around here, listening to these animals dying all slow. So I put them out of their misery, and that was that. I carried one into the freezer. I was off to bed at that point. That was a pretty stressful experience, so a little bit of rest wasn't a bad thing. When I woke up, 5 o'clock or so, I had some pemmican, decided to make a bunch of meals, see if I could clear out the freezer somewhat. I butchered a buffalo, made some more, and I was back to rebuilding those traps, see if I could keep myself safe next time some animals around here go nuts. After that, I was back to building bunker walls. Occasionally, I'd have to run around, put up a little bit of roof. Seemed like kind of a waste of time, but oh well. Somebody reached out. They were being chased. I can't help you out. Look at me. I made walls, stopped and had a meal, and I decided to take a walk around. Just check out the spaceship area. All my supplies, maybe take a little tally. Contemplate how well things are going for the minute. A little bit of peace. Felt I can get a lot done. I was done walking, popped up some roof, and then built a couple traps. Best to keep those in place. These dirty old caribou, always stepping on them. So there were 4 traps that needed building, and I got those done before too long. After that, it was right back to working on walls before heading to bed. My sleep schedule was all screwed up, but it was what it was. Caribou came through while I was sleeping, destroyed a couple more traps, and the dog seemed to like eating them caribou, so that was alright with me. I butchered up a bear, made a bunch of meals. At some point, I'd just make 100 or so, call it good. For the minute. It was a nice reprieve from working on walls and other stuff around here. I finished the second layer of walls around the ship. Did some repairing on the ship since it had gotten damaged up during my bear fight. And then I made some more blocks out of chunks before sitting down to chill out a bit. Decided I was gonna have to do some cleaning here. Those grizzlies really made a mess, bleeding out everywhere. So when I got up, that was the next order of business, before getting back to making blocks out of chunks. And eventually, heading down to sleep. There were some visitors around. They didn't have anything to trade, so I'd pretty much just ignored them. When I got up, yet another caribou went mad. I don't know what was going on around here. Those things sure were nutty though. I decided to work on some sandbags, just to get some idea how much additional steel I was gonna need. The way my traps keep getting destroyed, I was gonna need a mountain of it, I'll tell you what. I got the sandbags done, got the traps rebuilt, and it was back to making stone blocks out of chunks. Constant focus around here. I had quite a pile built up. Decided to sit down and play some chess for a minute. And that was alright. All these dogs running through. I was off to bed after that. When I woke up, it was evening. It's 7 o'clock. Decided to stay focused. I was going to put some floors in, see if I could pretty this place up a little bit. Needed another heater in my bedroom as well, plus a vent, and get all these rooms attached together in terms of temperature. I was going to need a light in that bedroom too. I was doing some cheap and fast floors, just to have the place not looking too ugly. Occasionally working on some walls out in the kill box area as well. So much work for one fella, tell you what. I'd have to stop for some pemmican once in a while. And I managed to stay focused on them walls, followed by the floors as well. And I think I was making pretty good progress. The main working room floors were done, except for the smoothing. That had to be next. And there are plenty of walls. Walls in the kill box, walls in the bunker, walls around the power. Stuff to do all over the place. I worked as long as I could, and then I was off to bed once again. When I woke up, it was evening. I got to working on the walls in my freezer, followed by the floors in my bedroom. The bedroom was a mess. There was still blood all over the place. After working for a bit, I decided to sit and chill out, wishing I had another beer, but wishing don't make it real. I was working on the bedroom floor. Some cargo pods fell down. Looked like wolf skin or something. Wasn't anything I cared to have though. I was working on the walls in the bunker. One of my power cables gave. Started some of the dead animals in my freezer on fire, so I had to deal with that before getting back to working on the walls. So I was making good progress though. Hoping to turn this project over before too long here. Still gonna need a ton of guns. Still gonna need a fair amount of walls. But with focused work, we'll get there. I worked on what I could till I ran out of supplies in one section. My robot had set up a bunch of supplies elsewhere, so I focused on that until it was time for bed. I like my new bedroom quite a bit. Wasn't much to it, but that's just fine for me. Cold snap came on that night. I got up to start working on walls again. I was gonna have to change my hat before too long. This helmet just freezes up. It was kind of rough tossing horseshoes in such cold weather. This steel helmet on my head. But not the end of the world. It's better than not tossing horseshoes, I'll tell you that. So I finished up the last of the walls in the spaceship area. Decided to get to smoothing some floors in my little workroom. And I made good progress before it was time to hit the hay. About 4 o'clock I laid down. Things were coming together real nice. When I woke up, about 11 o'clock, I had myself a meal and got to the business of smoothing floors, which didn't take too long. After that, I was back to breaking down rock chunks, occasionally stopping to do some cleaning since I was getting sick of how disgusting all this place was turning into. I took myself a break before too long, just to watch the sunrise, lay down by my wall, and it was pretty nice. Blow off a little steam, just enjoy some outside without somebody trying to kill me. I worked down a few more walls, then I broke down some more chunks. Looked like I had about all the blocks I was gonna need, so I hit the hay for the minute. While I was sleeping, some toxic fallout started. Poisoned the land, probably poisoned my dogs as well. I woke up, continued breaking down rock chunks. I was gonna need some extra the way things get destroyed around here. Stuff gets real crazy. I was certainly gonna have to be rebuilding some walls, so it wouldn't hurt to have some extra block about. Cold snap ended as I was sitting down to play with some chessboard once again. Futzing around with that. I was making the last couple blocks out of the remaining stone chunks I had nearby. And I finished that task. I was sitting on a fair amount of extra. Decided to build a bunch of roofs where I was going to be constructing and hanging out. Hopefully keep myself out of the toxic fallout. Such a mess around here. Just trying not to get killed. If it isn't humans trying to kill you, it's the planet trying to kill you, I swear to God. I built some roof around some nearby steel, because I was definitely going to have to do some mining before too long. Didn't want to fire up this ship without a good stockpile of extra steel about. After that, there's a few more walls to build around the power generator, so I finished those up. And then the last couple were in my freezer. Got to working on that, thinking about making a couple extra meals as well. Finished the last of the walls. That was a good feeling. After that, I was off to bed. When I woke up, time to do some cleaning, have a little meal, and cook up what meat I had laying around before butchering something else. I butchered a few animals. I cooked a bunch of meals. Tried to keep the place relatively clean as well so I wouldn't get sick. Last thing I need is to be sick when things are really getting crazy. Decided I was going to build a few of those guns right away. Better to have some kind of security than none. So I was dragging supplies out there for that. Trying to figure out what I had and what I was going to need. I moved my main stockpile for metals out to where my guns were. Seemed like a decent place since that's where I was going to need them. I was feeling pretty sick from the toxic buildup. Not enough to die, I'm sure, but I certainly wasn't feeling well. After that, I was a little lost on what to do next. I was thinking about hauling stuff around, but in the end, decided to stick to the construction tasks. Till I ran out of material, then I'd have to get out and do some mining. I was gonna need to build some power conduit over to where I wanted to put my guns. And hopefully, power could take care of it all. My stove would be getting shut off eventually. I could probably salvage some steel from that, so that'd be great. I chilled out, just sitting, enjoying my little space, wishing I didn't feel so sick from this toxic buildup before getting back to the business of building guns. One of them had gotten a bit damaged somehow before I even built it. So I did some repairs on that. I was trying to put guns made out of better materials up front. That should keep people running on in and start attacking them. At least they have to attack the toughest ones first. I decided to hit the hay. My toxic buildup level seemed to be improving a little bit. One of them guns I just built had already broke down. And after that, I was gonna have to get to the business of mining. I was short on supplies. So that's what I did. My hauling robot was coming out, picking up supplies. And I mined for quite a while before calling it for the day. I pulled in a bit. Decided to have myself a meal, do a little bit of cleaning. Toxic buildup level was definitely improving. I wasn't feeling as sick as I had before. Put some supplies down where my guns were. Had a couple fruit drinks in a row as well. Decided to build the power conduit. see if I could get these guns turned on sooner rather than later. But in the end, I had to go to bed. I was feeling pretty good thanks to the fruit drinks. I was feeling pretty bad thanks to the toxic buildup. Decided to toss horseshoes when I woke up. Despite the toxicity in the air, I just needed to blow off a little bit of steam once again. So I did that till it was time for a meal. Popped a little bit of roof up where I was going to need it for tossing horseshoes, and finished building my power conduit before getting back to working on a gun. I got a few guns built, got the rest of my ship repaired as well. Decided to finally call that ship mine once and for all. Get that broadcast. After that, back to the mining. It's gonna be a day or two of this before I was done with it. Plus I wasn't feeling the best. But I focused on mining as long as I could. Carried back what I could carry. A hauling robot going to get some as well. And I had myself a meal. Decided, you know what, a little more work, be alright. I built a little bit of roof, decided to heck with it. And decided I had to get in there and repair the ship a bit more before heading off to bed. Some fella showed up that time. Had some stuff to trade. Didn't really have a lot I was interested in. I thought about selling them something. It didn't really make sense to have a bunch more silver laying around when I wasn't going to need it anyway. Decided to focus on getting my guns built before sitting down, have a little break. Planned on doing some cleaning when I got up. I had the dogs trapped inside once again due to the toxic buildup situation outside. That poor fellow that visited was looking a little green when he walked away. I was feeling pretty good. Seemed like all these roofs I built have really done the trick. I went and did a bunch of mining. I carried back what I could. Had myself a meal, and then I was off to bed. I could hear them dogs snoring in the next room. When I woke up, one of my heaters was broken down, so I had to repair that. Before heading on out, do a little more mining. I built some more roof first, lest this toxic stuff get the best of me. About that time, spaceship came crashing down out of the sky, putting this crazy buzzing in my ear, making me all kinds of crabby. I was gonna have to do something about that. But for the minute, I was gonna try and mine a little bit. In the end, I decided I was a little too crabby. Finish all this mining today. So I finished a little bit, grabbed what I could, and took off with it. I got back inside. Some food was definitely in order, as I was right starving. Had myself a fruit drink as well, and then I decided to sit and chill out, looking at the mess on the floor next to me. Didn't have much to complain about, other than this buzzing in my ear that just wouldn't go away. I was gonna have to do something about that ship. I guess I was gonna need my last couple guns built before I messed with that. So that's what I focused on, and it didn't take long. All my guns were made. That dirty ship is over there, exuding all kinds of nasty stuff. I had 2 little chunks to mine left. Worked on that, carried in the rest of the supplies, and after that I was off to bed. All in all, I'd had a good couple days. Made a lot of progress. I got the whole bunker built here, so that was positive. I was gonna have to deal with that ship at some point before I started up my own ship. Maybe I'd just pop it and start mine. Let the raiders deal with that thing. It's not the bad idea. For the time being though, I was feeling pretty good. Things were a bit of a mess, but I wasn't having any health issues. I was happy with what had happened. Next time, I'd be off this rock.